In today's video, I want to show you why I think the Osmo Action 4 combined with the DJI Mic 2 transmitter is the most versatile travel vlogging setup you can have. What's up everybody, welcome to Freely Roaming. My name is Dan. So I've been trying to dial in my perfect travel vlogging setup that is compact, easy to carry around, and has a lot of versatility. And I finally settled with the set of gear that I want to show you today that gives you the most versatility for the widest range of possibilities using your Osmo Action 4 as a travel vlogging setup. If you already own the Osmo Action 4, you already know its capabilities. From the great low light capability to D-Lock M to be able to let you adjust colors in post. And best of all, my favorite feature about the Osmo Action 4, it is its ability to be able to accept a wide range of audio equipment. In this video, I'm going to focus more specifically on the different types of audio setups you can have with your Osmo Action 4. With the introduction of DJI Mic 2 and the new firmware update that allows the DJI Mic 2 to connect to the Osmo Action 4 without any cables, it has opened up a wide range of abilities for this camera and this microphone. Of course, there's other small cameras out there like the Osmo Pocket 3 that has a bigger sensor than the Osmo Action 4, but with the durability and the waterproof ability of this camera, I think it is more versatile than Osmo Pocket 3. Even though it doesn't have a gimbal, it has really good digital stabilization with Rocksteady Plus. Now, if you have a DJI Mic 2 to go with this, a lot of people would assume that you would use the microphone just as a lavalier mic, which you can obviously do. What I like to do is clip it onto the side of the Osmo Action 4 via a cage and use it as either an onboard microphone or as a microphone interface to plug in other microphones. The nice thing about this is compared to using a different type of microphone receiver, wireless microphone receiver, is that it doesn't require you to lose the waterproofing capability of this camera. You don't need a receiver, it communicates via Bluetooth directly, and because it's got a 3.5mm jack, you can plug in any kind of microphone that you want. If you want a different capability or different sound as compared to the built-in mic on the DJI Mic 2. So let me show you the different parts that I have to set up my travel vlogging rig. And of course I have the Osmo Action 4 camera itself. I have that sitting inside a newer aluminum cage that's got a cold shoe on the top and also a 1/4-20 thread on the side. Now with a 1/4-20 screw on the side, you can just put on a regular cold shoe and face it in any direction that you want. Or the alternative is to use this Ulanzi cold shoe. And of course, you have to have the DJI Mic 2 transmitter. Here I have the white version. You can also get the semi-transparent black option. With the DJI Mic 2 mounted to the side, the cold shoe on the top of the cage is reserved for a shotgun mic. In this video, I'm going to test both the Video Micro from Rode as well as the Comica VM10. Both of these microphones are pretty equal in sound quality as well as polar pattern, so it rejects a lot of the sound from the side and to the back. The Rode, however, is about 4 decibels more sensitive than the Comica, so you have to change that gain setting. To connect it to the DJI Mic 2, you want to have a really good quality 3.5mm cable that's shielded. The cable that comes from Rode is the one that I'm using. It is probably the best quality of all the ones that I've tried. It does not introduce any noise at all. And lastly, I have this little microphone that I've had for a long time. It's the Edutage ETM001. It's a really tiny but really sensitive microphone, so you have to dial the gain setting all the way down. Because it is so sensitive, that's why it's nice to have that 32-bit float recording option internally on the DJI Mic 2. And then finally, I have it all sitting on a UURig mini tripod. What I like about this UURig mini tripod is that you can use it as a handheld vlogging setup, or you can put it on the ground and it will go as tall as 4 feet. So here are the different microphone configurations that I'm going to show you. First one is using the onboard Osmo Action 4 camera mic. This is the most stripped down setup, so if you want to be totally discreet, you want to be unobtrusive so you can use this camera everywhere, and you want it to be totally waterproof, this is the one you want to go with. Secondly, you can use the DJI Mic 2 as a lav mic. So this will also make your Osmo Action 4 stand alone, completely unattached. And the third option is to mount your DJI Mic 2 as an on-camera mic. And because the microphone comes with a wind muff, it's a great option to use for general purpose. And using that 3.5mm jack on top, you can also plug in a shotgun mic like a Rode Video Micro or Comica VM10. And lastly, using the Edutage ETM001 plugged into the microphone, you can have the microphone either mounted on the camera or as a handheld microphone. So I've done a bunch of tests with all these different setups. So let me just show the different gain settings you want the camera to have depending on how you have your microphone set up. Osmo Action 4 built-in camera. Default setting. Edutage ETM001 plus 5 dB. Edutage ETM001 0 dB. Edutage ETM001 minus 5 dB. Edutage ETM001 minus 10 dB. Rode Video Micro plus 10 dB gain. Rode Video Micro plus 5 dB gain. Rode Video Micro 0 dB gain. Rode Video Micro minus 5 dB gain. Comica VM10 gain plus 10. Comica VM10 gain plus 5. Comica VM10 gain setting 0. Comica VM10 gain negative 5. DJI Mic 2 plus 10 dB gain. DJI Mic 2 plus 5 dB gain. DJI Mic 2 0 dB gain. DJI Mic 2 minus 5 dB gain. DJI Mic 2 worn as a lav plus 10 dB gain. DJI Mic 2 worn as a lav plus 5 dB gain. DJI Mic 2 worn as a lav 0 dB gain. DJI Mic 2 worn as a lav minus 5 dB gain. DJI Mic 2 worn as a lav minus 5 dB gain, noise reduction on. Testing sound rejection. This is the Rode Video Micro. Directly from the front, 2 feet away. Here's to the side, same distance away. Here's the sound from the back, also about 2 feet away. Here's the sound from the other side, also about 2 feet away. And here I'm back to the front. This is the audio rejection test of the Rode Video Micro. This is the audio rejection test of the Comica VM10, 2 feet away directly from the front of the Osmo Action 4. Here it is from the side, 2 feet away from the camera. Here it is directly from the back, 2 feet away. And this is from the other side, 2 feet away as well, same distance. And back to the front. This is the audio rejection test of the Comica VM10. So those are different gain settings based on what microphone you're using with the DJI Mic 2. And now let me show an example of what happens when you have audio that's too loud and it's clipping, and what you can recover using the onboard 32-bit float audio. Okay, this is the Edutage ETM001 mic. I have it on full blast, so it's clipping internally, or at least it should be clipping internally in the Action 4. But we're going to compare it to the onboard 32-bit float recording to see what happens. I'm going to walk around, as you can see, as I'm walking around. All the way, I'm in the back, now I'm to the side. It should get the same amount of audio all the way around because it's an omnidirectional microphone. Again, this is the Edutage ETM001. Gain setting is plus 12. Highest it will go for the Action 4 when it's connected to the DJI Mic 2. And here are a bunch of use cases and examples of how these different setups can be used. This is the walking and talking setup of my Osmo Action 4 with the Rode Video Micro. The gain setting is at 0 on the camera. The microphone is plugged into the DJI Mic 2. Should be pretty good. This is the kind of setting I'm going to be using for just generally walking and talking and vlogging. So the sound should be pretty good, using the microphone on the top so that it could isolate the sounds a little bit better. I find that the Rode Video Micro is a pretty good microphone for that kind of sound isolation. It does a pretty good job of blocking out sounds from behind the mic specifically, yet it still gives you a little bit of environmental noise that makes this vlogging setup, walking and talking scenario sound a little bit more natural. So that is the setup that I would use most of the time when I'm vlogging like this, using the Rode Video Micro. So now this is the setup I would have if I wanted to be able to get more of a sound from coming in all directions, but I don't want it to be super sensitive. Here I'm using the DJI Mic 2 clipped on to the side of the camera, so that as you can see as I'm walking around the camera here, it should sound pretty much the same all the way around. So if you have multiple people talking and you want to be able to change angles of your shot without disturbing the audio too much, this is a good way to go. This DJI Mic 2 does not have a wind muff on it, so if it's windy I would just put the wind muff that came with the microphone directly on there. And then the setting on here is +5 dB gain in the camera. And this is a scenario where I would have multiple people around and I want to get sound from everybody. And now with this setup, I have the microphone now clipped onto my shirt so that I can walk away, leave the camera where it is, and still be able to get good sound from the microphone to the camera without having my voice fade away as I'm walking farther and farther away from the camera. And the nice thing about this, every time I'm using any of these microphones, I'm always recording natively a 32-bit float copy. And I can walk behind as well, and this will more or less isolate the audio just to me without me holding the camera. So this is the use case where the camera is going to be stationary and I'm going to be walking away and I don't want my voice to be lost. In this setup, the camera's dB gain is going to be -5 because it is attached to me. By having a lower gain setting, it will block out some of the sounds around me a little bit more and isolate more to my voice. So right now this setup is using the Osmo Action 4's built-in microphone. So this is basically the most stripped down version. If I needed to go incognito, I want it to be as discreet as possible, I can just take everything off of the camera and just have the camera itself if that was necessary and still get pretty good audio. Of course, I lose my versatility a little bit. I won't be able to get as high quality or as directional or as sensitive of a sound using the built-in microphone, but I still think the built-in microphone on the Osmo Action 4 sounds really good. For general purpose, you're not going to lose much. And there's no gain setting when you just use the built-in microphone of the Osmo Action 4. It is just set as default as it comes straight from the factory. Okay, now this is the Edutage ETM001 microphone plugged into the DJI Mic 2, and the gain setting is -10 because this is a really sensitive microphone. Now I will use this setup if I wanted to include a lot of environmental sounds, because this is a good quality mic. I can hear birds chirping, I can hear bugs buzzing, and you should be able to hear all that. And because this is such a sensitive microphone, I have the best gain setting for this one to be at -10 on the camera so that it doesn't introduce too much extra noise, yet still able to capture some pretty clean audio. And the cool thing about it is, if I wanted to, I can just take the microphone right off like this and go record really quiet sounds. I can hide this microphone somewhere really if I wanted to and record some sounds far away from the camera. And as always, I've got the built-in 32-bit float local recording here in the mic, and that is automatically recorded every time I start recording on the camera, because the microphone is designed to synchronize with the camera, that it will record every clip on the camera as it does locally with an audio track. So there you go. Those are all the different ways that I can record audio on this Osmo Action 4 using the DJI Mic 2, either as a microphone by itself or as a 3.5mm jack input. So there you go. Those are all the different setups that you can use this Osmo Action 4 coupled with the DJI Mic 2. It is really versatile in such a compact package. You can use this in just about any scenario. Loud situations, quiet situations, underwater, in heavy weather. There's a good setup for you in any situation. So of course there are pros and cons, so let me tell you a few of these. The pros for the setup is that you can use this as a handheld setup or a tripod setup in one package. It works in many sound environments while keeping your camera still waterproof. It's way more durable than something like the Osmo Pocket 3. And because you have the DJI Mic 2, you have your 32-bit flow audio backup recorded on board. And there are just a few cons that I want to talk to you about as well. Obviously, you have two different devices that both need battery, so you have to charge them both. Even though the batteries last quite a long time, you do have to be mindful, because if you don't have your DJI Mic 2 charged, you're not going to be able to use that. But the fallback version would be to use the onboard microphone on your Osmo Action 4. And all the different accessories that you have to carry with you to make this possible, you have to carry it in a little accessory pouch, namely the dead cat, the EduTitch microphone, and miscellaneous cables. And as compared to using something like the full wireless Mic 2 kit, you only have one channel. So if you have two people that are talking, the only way to do that is to disconnect the DJI Mic 2, record that internally while using your Osmo Action 4, and record that separately as a different audio source. That can be a little cumbersome, but it is possible. And of course you have your usual action cam limitations compared to a mirrorless camera, such as low light, the wide angle with only digital zoom, and it not being as easy to have nice motion blur. So there you go. That is how I recommend you guys use your Osmo Action 4 coupled with your DJI Mic 2 and all these different audio setups you can have. If you have any cool setups and how you use your Osmo Action 4 and DJI Mic 2, feel free to leave those comments below. I'd love to hear about it. If you have any questions at all about these setups, feel free to ask them below as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.